Hello, I'm Kieun Park from Seoul National University in South Korea. It is an honor to have the opportunity to share our work with you. Our paper is titled Enhancing Autogenerative Baseball Highlight via Win Probability and Bias Injection Method. This is a collaborative effort by myself, Hajin Lim, Joonhwan Lee, and Bongwon Seo, all from Seoul National University. In addressing the core challenges our research sought to tackle, we asked ourselves several key questions. How can we enhance auto-generative sports highlights to better capture the flow of the game? How can we generate more personalized highlights for sports fans? And importantly, how do sports fans perceive these highlights? To address our first question, we've evolved our strategy from just highlighting instant moment of excitement or score changes to incorporating the game's wider strategic narrative. Present techniques in crafting automated highlights tend to focus the peak moment of excitement, such as an unexpected goal or commentator's enthusiastic burst. Though these moments captured attention, they often miss out the game's overarching strategic play. Exploring another approach, while motion detection technology excels at spotting key actions, like a player's impactful move, it tends to overlook the game's broader strategy. Similarly, while scoreboard detection brings attention to scoring moments, it may overlook the crucial defensive effort or strategies that contribute significantly to a victory. In the quest to advance the automatic generation of sports highlights, we've adopted win probability to better reflect the game flow and its narrative. We aim to capture not just any highlight, but those that truly reflect the game's flow and its crucial turning points. Let's dive a bit deeper into the concept of win probability, especially how it plays out in baseball. While many traditional sports already utilize win probability and emerging esports are developing various methods to calculate it, baseball has a unique statistical analysis method called sabermetrics, which started in mid-20th century. This is why win probability in baseball is often considered to be more nuanced, better at capturing the narrative of the game. To illustrate how win probability reflects the game flow, let me show you an example. Let's say we are rooting for the home team. In the first case, we are initially down 1-2, but with the player on the first base, one of our guys hits a home run, flipping the score to 3-2 win. This play significantly boosts the team's win probability. On the other hand, in the second case, we were already leading 4-0. Then, with all bases loaded, our player hits a grand slam, adding 4 more runs to make it 8-0. However, it only slightly boosts our win probability because we are already in strong position, so this just cements our lead a bit more. This comparison illustrates how, despite both being home runs, their impact on the game's outcome varies greatly depending on the context and the score at the time. Building on the concept of win probability, we now introduce a method for automatically generating baseball highlights using win probability added, named WPA-based method. Our algorithm for pinpointing this pivotal event begins by calculating the WPAs for all games events and converting these figures into absolute values. This step allows us to objectively measure each event's impact on the game's outcome. Next, by sorting events according to their absolute WPA values, we can identify and prioritize the most crucial moment for inclusion as segmented within the highlight. An illustrative example of our method's applications can be found to the right, showing a graph of win expectancy alongside the game's score. Points on this graph marked with an asterisk denote instances of rapid change in win probability, corresponding to events with higher absolute WPA values. These moments indicative of significant shift in the game's momentum are prime candidates for the inclusion in our highlight reels. The number of events selected for highlight reel may vary depending on the desired length of the video. Additionally, in keeping with conventional practice in baseball highlight production, we always include the final out scene marking the game's conclusion as a standard element of our highlight. With this method, we can generate highlights that not only maintain the integrity of the game's story, but also giving the viewers the quick, exciting recap they want. Let's turn our attention to our second question. How can we generate more personalized highlights for sports fans? Recognizing that fans often have a strong bias toward their favorite team, we explore the concept of personalized highlights. While impartial broadcasting is the norm and rightly so, there's a unique appealing in offering services that openly acknowledge and cater to fans' biases. Consider it a form of personalized service. This realization sparked our curiosity. If there already are services that broadcast game with a clear bias to one team, what if we applied a similar approach to generating highlights? Could this enhance the viewing experience? To explore this, we consider the preference of sports enthusiasts who enjoy a bit of partiality, those who find the game more engaging when the commentary leans toward their favorite team. Thus, we embarked on an investigation to understand how generating highlights with team-specific bias impact fans' perception and enjoyment. Expanding on our method for generating highlight based on WPA, we introduced an innovative bias injection framework designed to personalize the viewing experience further. Here's how it works. To generate highlight that favor a particular team, our model adjusts the WPA value through a bias injection mechanism. For a positive WPA event, such as hits, home run, and strikeout, we multiply the value by a factor greater than 1. Conversely, for negative WPA events, like base on balls or walks, we apply a factor less than 1, reducing its impact. This framework allows us to accentuate the positive plays of a favored team while diminishing the impact of their negative plays. Let's examine a concrete example to illustrate how this methodology plays out. Imagine we are a fan of the away team, depicted in blue caps and white uniform, while the home team is represented in red caps and uniform. We'll explore how favorably and unfavorably biased highlights are crafted from the same game using our bias injection methods. In a side-by-side comparison, we show two sets of highlights. One is favorably biased and the other is unfavorably biased. Notably, the initial event chosen for the favorably biased highlights is a scoring play by the away team, indicating a preference for away team's positive plays. Conversely, the unfavorably biased highlights start with a double play, highlighting a negative play for them. Following this, both highlights feature a score by the away team. As we progress to the subsequent selection of the events for the highlights, both including scoring plays by the home team, yet there's a divergence in the choice of additional events. One highlights opt for a hit by the away team, while the other chooses a hit from the opposite. Ultimately, this results in different ratio of each team's positive moment in the highlights, as shown in the graph illustrating the away team's share of positive events. Through this bias injection method, we are able to offer a simple but novel way of experiencing baseball highlights, catering to the diverse preference of our audience. To address our final question, how do sports fans perceive these highlights? We carried out a user study. For the evaluation, we engaged 43 baseball enthusiasts who frequently watch KBO games and have a strong allegiance to the specific KBO teams. Participants watched 6 highlight videos and then took a survey on each video's comprehensive, interesting, and fair. We followed up with quick interview for deeper insights into their viewing experience and overall thoughts. The experiment concluded with exit interview focusing on participants' previous experience and expectation for auto-generative highlights. Here's a breakdown how the investigation was conducted. We delve into a comparative analysis to answer our first research question: how do participants evaluate baseball highlights generating using the standard WPA-based approach compared to existing AI highlights that mainly consisted of the scoring events? Participants watched two highlights from the same game, one from our WPA approach and one from the commercial solution. Our findings showed that WPA-based highlights were seen as more comprehensive and interesting, with no significant difference in fairness between the two. Interviews added depth, with participants noting that they could grasp the overall game flow and appreciated the inclusion of the intermediate processes, enhancing their viewing experience. Next, we explored how viewers perceive bias highlights under different conditions for our second research question. Participants saw two sets of highlights for their favorite team's games, with one set showing strong bias toward or against their team, and the other showing the weaker bias. This allows us to investigate which factor influence viewer experiences. Our study found that the game's outcomes significantly affect how viewers enjoy highlights. Fans appreciated highlights more when their team won, enjoying the focus on positive plays. However, highlights felt less satisfying when biased against their team, especially in a loss. The bias condition itself did not produce a significant main effect on its own. Therefore, we analogized bias condition coupled with game outcomes. Our finding revealed an interaction effect between bias condition and win-loss on comprehensive and interesting, with victorious enjoyed from various perspectives and losses leading to a preference for more neutral content. Interview revealed mixed feeling toward bias highlight after a defeat. Some were put off by the bias, while others appreciated the emphasis on their favorite team's effort. This underscored the complexity of viewer preferences and suggests that personalized highlight criteria should be adjusted based on the game's outcome and individual tastes. Despite around 90% of participants noticed bias, our study found no significant result on fairness. Interview revealed varied understanding of fairness. Some saw equal team representation in highlights as fair, while others viewed a focus on scoring plays as biased. Lastly, we found out about the last research question: expectation for improving auto-generated highlights through exit interview. In exploring participants' pre-existing perception and experience, we learned from our study that 70% of participants knew about AI highlight and liked their quick post-game availability. Yet 93% of them expressed disappointment over their incompleteness, such as the lack of key moments. We also explored viewer expectations and found diverse demands highlighting the need for personalization in sports highlights. Viewers want personalized content featuring their favorite teams or players, and fundamental structure details like team lineups and pitching change for full understanding. Additionally, they desire the immersive feel of the live game atmosphere. These varied interests underscore the wide range of individual preferences. Our finding underscore a clear message: there is a demand for auto-generated highlights that are not just quick and convenient, but also rich, personalized, and immersive. As we move forward, incorporating these elements represent a promising avenue to meet the current expectation for sports fans. For more details, check out our paper. We believe it'll inspire new ways to make sports highlights better for fans. Thank you.